Hey everybody, here we are at the shop again today. A little bit of rainy day. Kenny's over here helping me out getting the body mounted on this Mustang, and we've been doing brake lines, and right now he's prepping all the tin work to get it ready to rivet it in the car. We're gonna show that in the next video, but this one here I wanted to show brake lines, how I do them, and you can do them however you want to, but I'm going to show you how I do them. Make it simple for you, and just things to watch out for, tools, or most everything you can get online. I've got one of those nice flaring tools. I also have a real nice it's like an Aeromotive style flaring tool for the 45-degree angle single flare stuff that I got from my friend Jim Unum. The other one I have will do the same thing, but that one's nice because you can do some of the flares on the car, which you have to, like the way I do my front brake line. You have to flare the loop that goes through the front end of the car on the car, so it makes it a little bit easier. I've got some online flaring tools. I've got one that I got from Eastwood that does just 3/16 line. It's real handy when you're trying to do that stuff. Sorry about my sniffing. I got a little bit of a cold, so runny nose. You know how us old guys are. We get sick easy. And I got the Chevelle off the lift finally. It wouldn't start yesterday. It had a wiggle of wiring a little bit underneath the hood. When I had it all apart, I should have put a brand new wiring harness in, and I didn't. So here we go. I'm going to show you a little bit what's going on. Nothing going on with the Willys. That'll be Friday. So here goes nothing. There's Kenny back there. He's, like I say, prepping all this stuff so we can look at it, lay it out. He's peeling all the plastic off of it and just checking to make sure I didn't make any mistakes. So watch, he's quality control. We'll call Kenny quality control. So I'm going to show you the Mustang. Here she is. Her chassis powder coated. Inside of the body's painted. I'll crawl inside there and show you, but she's looking pretty good. Brake lines, we'll start here. This line runs into the chassis. I put a route hole here. It's a 1/2 inch hole. It's about 1 1/4 inches long, that I can get the lines through the chassis in the front. I do not run lines inside of the frame rail near the engine or the transmission in case they explode. Clutch explosion, balancer blows up, you don't want it to hit a brake line. You want to be able to stop the car. So I run the front piece through the rail. I'm going to dip inside and show you what I do there. And it comes out there, runs across this cross member, and then back into the frame rail. You can see I got a little bit of fine tuning yet there, but they're pretty straight. I use these little stainless clips here. They come from Speedway Motors. It's like a 910 part number, 3/16 stainless clip. That way the line's removable. Drill them. They come with 1032 button-headed screws, so I drill and tap them. And on some of the other cars I've built, I use a little aluminum clamp that I've made myself. I think I've shown that in other videos. This car here, I use the stainless clamps to bolt the lines on. So then out here, the line runs into the chassis there through this T, which hooks to the flex line that goes to the caliper. Where line runs along outside the frame rail here, I like using the Hurst line locks. They are rebuildable. You can take them apart and clean them out. I've done that before. I mean, they're handy. They're a little bit more money, but they come with a real nice button that can go on the shifter handle. They have several ports for multiple uses. I just use the one port to run to the front, but you can put a brake line switch in here if you want to. This is from the master cylinder. I'll show you that. I'm going to raise it up a little bit more. Well, I'll walk back in the back and show you the back first. I'll go around this way. That's how I do the back. I want you to see this. There's a 90 bulkhead there on the right side of the car, and then I run that line across that rear cross member, and it ties into that T there. The reason why I do this is that I want flex line to go to each caliper. That way if you have to pull a rear end out of the car or anything, you can just take the calipers off and hang them, and you don't have to break the brake system loose. If you put a single line down to the rear end housing, then run hard lines out to the calipers and or the brake drums, you have to break the brake system loose if you want to pull a rear end out, and I don't like doing that. So these lines here, they run along the inside of the frame rail in the back, and the reason why I did that on this car, because it would have been really hard to run them through the rail without drilling a giant hole in the front of the cross member up in here, which I could have done. I could have run it through there, but this way it's more captive. And I needed to put the residual pressure valve in line too. Always use residual pressure valves. I don't care where the master cylinder is at. What happens is you'll get knocked back in a caliper. If you do a burnout and it shakes the tires, it'll knock the pistons and the pads in, and you have a brake pedal. If you use a residual pressure valve, whether the cylinder's low or up high in the firewall, it will prevent that knockback. So always use them. Keep them close to the master cylinder as you can in a convenient location. I like to get them up out of the way so they're not getting knocked off. So as you can see, I got a clamp here close, and then there's a clamp down here to hold it. So and then you can see the master cylinder mounted there. I always used to Wilwood cylinders because you can run the lines out either side of them. I'm gonna, well, show you got the dash done. That's all fixed, and the pieces that I've got in it, all powder coated. Like I say, we're gonna do tin work next. I always do the brake lines before the tin work, because that way you can stand in here and do all this stuff easy. You got plenty of light. You're not having any clearance issues with the drill motor or tap or anything else. It's nice that this is all done. And as you can see back in the back here, I've got the whole back end of the body painted. I cleaned it and sanded it up a little bit. There's still stuff you can see, like old paint that was stuck on the car, but it was stuck good, so why take it off? All this is cleaned up and it'll look really good when it's done. So I'm going to raise the car up a little bit and show you the master cylinder area. You can see I painted the corners there where the front end will mount, so the body man doesn't have to do that. Okay, here's the master cylinder mount underneath. You've seen me weld them on, but this is the front line. Loops around that way, clear everything. Then this is the rear line, comes this way. See, there's another RPV right there. I try to keep everything up as high and as tight as possible so that, doesn't drag on anything. Back here you're good because nothing can hit it here because of that bracket. Like I say, I probably could have drilled a hole up here in the frame. In hindsight, maybe I would have, but I mean, then the line in that long a run flops around in the chassis, and I mean, it can wear out eventually. So it's tied up tight, everything's good, but I wanted everybody to see this, what we got going on here. I got this tab here welded on a little bit crooked, and I don't know how I did that, but I did. But it's just a brake line mount tab. Never see it once the wheel's on. So anywho, next step is start putting all the tin work in the car, get that done. Like I said, Kenny's here to help me with that, and then I'll start assembling all the other parts. I don't have them back from Bob yet. B&B Powder Coating here in the Portland area does all my powder coating. He does a fantastic job. All the parts and pieces we're doing are called Almost Chrome, and this thing will look super sharp when it's done. So when I get the tin work in, I'll share another video. Thanks for watching.